messenger on horseback bounds into the township of Roxburghshire with a message from the King of Scotland. The message contains orders for an execution. Orders consisting of very specific instructions that were to be followed to the letter. It was of the utmost importance, because the condemned man had attained dark supernatural powers. Powers attained by the dark arts that made him near impossible to kill. And so in this instance, any traditional means of execution was useless. The condemned in question was Scottish border noble, Sir William de Soules, Lord of Hermitage Castle, in Roxburghshire. De Soules was known as a cruel and evil man, who according to legend, practiced the art of black magic, upon which he conjured up an evil spirit. One so bloodthirsty, that he would take the murderous desires of de Soules to new horrifying heights. This malevolent spirit went by the name, Robin Redcap. Near the borders of Scotland and England, legend tells of a particularly vicious species of cryptid, the redcaps. Described as short, well-built and resembling old men, redcaps possess prominent teeth and red eyes, with long thin fingers, tipped with hooked claws. Each wears a large red cap as well as heavy iron boots. Despite their heavy boots and short stature, they are quick on their feet, easily able to chase down any escaping survivors. Invariably, they carry a long pike or scythe, again constructed from heavy iron, which they use to kill their victims. The area of Scotland, known as Northumberland, close to the border between Scotland and England, is littered with ruined and abandoned castles. A testament to over 1,000 years of unrest between the two nations. Many fortifications were constructed to protect both Scots and the English from border bandits and mercenaries that would roam the region, raiding settlements and farmsteads. It was these castles of the borderlands that the redcaps were rumored to infest, laying in wait. In fact, in some legends, redcaps are the spirits of those who had been murdered in the border's bloody history. Victims were typically travelers or passers-by. Anyone unwittingly seeking shelter in the lair of a redcap would be ambushed and murdered. The redcap would drop heavy stones from above, crushing its victims, or impaling them with their pikes. Once the brutal murder was complete, the redcap would then drink the blood, fresh from the mangled corpses. And in a bizarre ritual, responsible for their name, redcaps would soak their hats in the spilled blood. Furthermore, it was said that if the blood should ever dry completely, the redcap would die. Thus, the redcaps had to frequently hunt and kill, so as to dip their skullcap in fresh blood. Redcaps are unaffected by human strength. However, they cannot bear the sound of holy words. And so, upon hearing the recitation of passages from the Bible, the redcaps would flee at great speed, leaving behind one of their teeth. The most famous description of a redcap came from the folklorist William Henderson, who described this malevolent, goblin-like being in detail. Redcap, redcomb, or bloody cap, is a sprite of another sort from the friendly brownie. He is cruel and malignant of mood, and resides in spots which were once the scene of tyranny, such as border castles, towers, and peel houses. He is depicted as a short, thick-set old man with long prominent teeth, skinny fingers, armed with talons like eagles, large eyes of a fiery red color, grizzly hair streaming down his shoulders, a pike staff in his left hand, and a red cap on his head. When benighted, or shelterless travelers, take refuge in his haunts, he flings huge stones at them. Nay, unless he is much maligned, he murders them outright, and catches their blood in his cap, which thus acquires its crimson hue. This ill-conditioned goblin may, however, be driven away by repeating scripture words, or holding up the cross. He will then yell dismally, or vanish in a flame of fire, leaving behind him a large tooth, on the spot where he was last seen. One fateful night, in the bowels of Hermitage Castle, the souls successfully summoned the evil entity known as Robin Redcap. Together they formed a monstrous bond, ever coming up with new ways to implement their torture. Legend states that horrifying screams of murderous anguish could be heard day or night, emanating from the castle walls. Hermitage Castle was said to be so filled with murder, so full of torture, that the very weight of such great sins were pushing the castle into the earth upon which it sat. It is believed that the stones themselves were trying to hide from the sight of God. Eventually the locals could stand no more, and attempted to rise up against the cruel tyrant. However, Robin Redcap had conferred upon the souls supernatural powers. Thanks to the goblin, and at the price of his soul, de Souls was rendered immune to weapons and even hanging. No ropes could bind him, and he could not be harmed by lance and arrow, or by sword and knife. The King of Scotland had provided a solution. Since Robin's powers prevented the king's men from binding de Souls, they instead rolled him up in a sheet of lead. The king decreed he was to be put to death, so de Souls was taken to a circle of standing stones. The Nine-Stane Rig. Just outside Hermitage Castle, a huge cauldron was set inside the ring of ancient stones, and a great fire was lit beneath it. And thus when the flames grew hot enough, they plunged him into the cauldron red, and melted him, body, lead, bones and all. When his master perished, Robin Redcap disappeared. However, it is said, the devilish goblin had amassed a hoard of treasure, which lies hidden to this day in Hermitage Castle. It has been claimed that the terrible goblin has been seen several times over the years, presumably still watching over his hoard. That concludes this video. Thanks for watching, and thank you for subscribing. If you haven't yet subscribed, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Furthermore, you can support my work through Patreon. Thank you, and goodbye.